Welcome into 49ers Access. My name is Sterling Bennett, and that is Aaron from 49ers First Takes. And we have to discuss the fallout of the 2025 NFL trade deadline. Is there dissension in the ranks with the San Francisco 49ers? We have a small yet conflicting reports on Brandon Ayuk's return, and the 49ers are showing some interest in signing a free agent cornerback, Asante Samuel Jr. Should they do that? Should they not? But Aaron, how you doing today? It is Wednesday night. It's 9:37 on the East Coast. It's late out there in the on the East Coast. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I'm actually on my second stream before Friday, so
wow,
we might have another one tomorrow too. We could have 4 in the week. That's like way more than I usually do. But it's been a rare week with the Niners with all this drama that we're about to talk about, and of course injury news galore, right? So should be interesting. When I saw the invite, I'm like, ooh, yes, I want to join. So.
Well, I don't know if you saw the Rams injury report compared to San Francisco's. It was like 7 to 8 players for the 49ers. Then it was 1 player for the Rams, and he was questionable. So,
ridiculous.
Certainly outweighing things and definitely leaning in the Rams' favor. But the fans didn't come here for a preview of the Rams-Niner game. We'll get to that tomorrow and, of course, Friday on the Cover 3 podcast that we do live on YouTube every single week. They came because the NFL trade deadline is come and gone, and the San Francisco 49ers did zilch, nothing. They didn't do a single thing. There wasn't a whisper. It was they had interest in Jermaine Johnson. They've contacted the Titans for Arden Key. They might get Bradley Chubb, but then nothing happened, and this defense is left kind of licking its own wounds. Michael Williams is out for the season. Bryce Huff is returning this Sunday, but the anticipation of what John Lynch and co. could cook up at the deadline kind of left us hungry for more leading into Week 10 against the Los Angeles Rams. What was your first takeaway from the news when 1 p.m. passed on Tuesday that there was no moves being done by San Francisco?
Shocked. I like you. I kind of teeter on this thing because part of me is like, man, there was names out there to be had. Yeah. You know, why not, right? And then there's the part of me that thinks long term with the future and stuff. So like I was in that kind of mindset, but man, coming out of it with nobody after losing Michael Williams for the season. And it's the fact that we can't get any pass rush at all on anybody ever. Like it's bad. So like I thought at worst, someone who you just said, Kerry Hyder, someone along those kind of lines.
Arden Key.
Not Kerry Hyder. Would be, worst case scenario, but it's still a body, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't even do that. Like the fact that they did nothing and they stood pat, I'm like, okay, we're not going to jeopardize the future and we're not going to give away a bunch of draft picks for a rental or for a guy that, has an injury history and hasn't really been super productive in the league anyways.
Sure.
But the other part of me was conflicted and like, man, what is this? What kind of indictment is this kind of put on the 49ers of 2025? Is it just a white flag type of year? So I'm kind of back and forth on it. It depends on who I watch and who I listen to, depending on what article pops up on Twitter. My mood kind of vacillates back and forth depending on what it is.
I've done my best over the course of the last, maybe over 24 hours, 28 hours now, trying to defend San Francisco in some capacity. Obviously, as a fan, you want to see your team be aggressive. You want to see your team always go all in. You want to see your team, be at the top of trade, mock trades. You want to be the Philadelphia Eagles and have an aggressive GM willing to trade away first-round draft picks and have this over-aggressive mindset, which I do think San Francisco has had in previous years, but we all know what the offseason held. Take a step back and hope that the ball can keep rolling after 2025. And I think, some fans can accept that. Some fans can say, you're right. I get it. It's a retooling year. They're going to be all in next year. And some fans can say, I'm okay with that. I get that, right? But a second part of the fan base, the other half, is like, You just watched the Dallas Cowboys, who are 3-5-1, go get Quinton Williams and the guy from the Bengals as a linebacker, which you could think which one of those deals. Jerry Jones made deals, and it's a team under 500, a team that has the worst defense in football and one of the best offenses in football. And you're the San Francisco 49ers. You're 6-3. You're sitting pat in the middle of the NFC West playoff hunt, and you didn't do jack squat. I think it's hard for fans to see that and justify those actions in their head and justify inaction by San Francisco of like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, you don't want to be Jerry Jones. No one really wants to be the Dallas Cowboys right now, but it's more of you're seeing under 500 teams or teams in, albeit winning situations lesser than yours, going and buying players. The culture all in. Daniel Jones may stink come week 13. Who knows, right? He's an unproven quarterback in a good system now. You're seeing teams like the Jaguars acquire a wide receiver. You're seeing other teams like the Bears, who were in on Jermaine Johnson, just like San Francisco was, pivot to buy a depth piece in Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. You said you teeter on the fence of kind of being, I don't want to say an illogical fan or a logical fan, but being more passionate, kind of saying go all in, compared to being like, you know what? I get what they're doing. I may not like it. How do you find yourself today, though? Because it does feel like the last 24 hours has been, okay, I understand to like, how could they do this? What's wrong with them? And the emotions kind of take over as we leave the deadline going into a 10 against the Rams, which is a big game on Sunday for San Francisco.
We had a stream last week, me, you, and Dre, and we talked about all this stuff, right? And yeah. Dre is like, go in, make a move.
Trey Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson. And I love that passion. I just it personally thought this year, just like with the injuries we have and just the overall just construction of the team with just the way the things are, I just didn't see it as a feasible thing that was going to happen. But in my heart, way deep down, if it would have happened, I would have been elated. Are you kidding me? Like, that's a huge, they say like, if you don't do something, it's an indictment. Well, if you do something like that, it's an indictment that like, oh, this is the piece we need to go and make a trip, make a run for a Lombardi. So I didn't think that was going to happen. But the fact that they didn't go and get anybody, not even like Bradley Chubb or it's weird because it's like, what are we doing this year? Like, what is the overall end game for the San Francisco 49ers of 2025? Are we content of like whatever happens and whatever our end record is going to be? That's great. But we're going to stick to our guns and we're not going to put ourselves in a financial situation that we're just starting to clear ourselves, like getting rid of all the, like the salaries and stuff that we did in the off season. It would kind of like be going backwards if all of a sudden we brought someone in and then we had to pay an extension and he's like one of the best edge rushers in the National Football League. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. But when they don't even make a move for, say, like a guy like Jermaine Johnson or Bradley Chubb for that matter, and they're going to stand pat after having another player go down for injuries, I get that you don't want to give up assets for the future just because it's the trade deadline and, you just got to make a move to make a move. I understand that. Like, if you're going to make a move, it's got to be calculated and it has to have a meaning behind it. It has to have a long-term meaning behind it. It's not just going to be for this year, but it's going to be for next year as well. Right. Thought Jermaine Johnson was kind of one of those kind of players. Surprised they couldn't get it at least to a third-round pick. I mean, we've been horrible with third-round picks. Why not give it a shot, right? And I didn't want the Niners to get rid of a bunch of like really good draft capital and go waste it on a player. Like I said, he hasn't super productive, and he's coming off, I think, an Achilles injury too. So like, I understand that, but to come out of it with nothing, you're 6-3. You have a ton of injuries, and yet you're still 6-3. You're in the midst of the divisional race to win the NFC West. To me, it looks like they're content with what they are this season. And whatever ends up happening and whatever record they end with, it's like they're almost content of like, just like, if it's a early round exit in the wild card, we're fine. If we don't make the playoffs, we're fine. Like, that's kind of a weird place to be after being a team who's perennially taking deep playoff runs and been in the Super Bowl twice since 2019, to all of a sudden be this like, be content with just to be kind of a middle of the pack type team. And like, you're shooting for next year. Like, why are we not living within the moment of this year? Why are we thinking about next year right now? We're in the middle of a season. Like, why not make a move? I don't get it. I don't get, like, I saw the video. You guys got to go watch it. Larry Krueger, he's very passionate about the 49ers. He just doesn't cover them. He's actually a fan. And he doesn't get the thinking of the 49ers. It doesn't sit well with him. So
I think, and we'll get to kind of, why I think it doesn't sit well with the fan base. And also I think, why maybe some fans are maybe, I don't want to say blinded. That sounds kind of harsh. I think we all see they're 6-3. They definitely have, like, there's kind of that two-faced coin of like, you can see they have a lot of holes. You can see they're down all these injured players. And on one side, you're saying, okay, I get it. Maybe they aren't a championship caliber team. On the other side, though, I can see fans saying like, well, fill those holes and maybe you could be a championship caliber team. And I would sit probably on the former than the latter of saying go all in, but I do want to get to some YouTube comments, and then I want to tell you a little bit about what we heard today from Mike Silver, who is one of the most into reporters that covers the NFL and football, and what he had to say about the San Francisco 49ers in action at the trade deadline this year. Bobo on YouTube says, as one of our favorites, they've given up on this season. Might as well shut Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Ricky Pearsall down. Save them for the first 2 games of next year, and they can get injured for the year once again. This team and regime will never win another championship. That's a little abrasive, but I do think that does underline kind of the tension that a lot of fans that have been here for a long time, been a fan for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, if you will, that they see an organization, they see a team that is maybe in their window, that they believe should be doing whatever it takes every year to win a championship. You won 5 Super Bowls. You haven't won one since 1994. You should be doing whatever it takes to reach the glory of the mountaintop once again. But I don't know if that's entirely fair to what the Niners were always going to be this season. I wrote an article today for Yardbarker, and the final paragraph as to why I thought San Francisco's inaction at the deadline wasn't cowardly, it was actually calculated. That had San Francisco may have been healthy, had they had Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, had they had Brock Purdy fully healthy, Pearsall's back, even if Ayuk wasn't out there, I do think it changes a lot for them. They can see a brighter future at what 2025 could hold. But my final comments in the article was this. The plan was always clear. Retool and hope to take advantage of a weaker schedule to remain competitive in 2025 while setting their sights on being a real contender in 2026. John Lynch was not going to abandon the plan because they started 6-3, especially because of their injuries. San Francisco is still in contention for a playoff spot and the NFC West division. They're not punting. They are holding on tightly to the plan they set in place back in March and refuse to recklessly spend or trade to appease an irrational part of the fan base. I think that's kind of it. That they set forth the plan in the offseason to take on $101.5 million in dead cap to draft 11 guys in 2025, influx the roster with young, youthful players, hope by week 12 those young guys have taken a turn for the better. Now half them are hurt, but still. And hope to contend as a playoff team. And as those guys walk into year 2, then you become a contender with 3 brand new draft classes, 24, 25, 26, roaming your roster of 30 new guys you have in place with the core around them that's still aging, right? They're not going to buck that because the fan base says, well, you're 6-3, go all in. They're not going to buck that because they realize that, what is really the ceiling of an offense that is scoring 20 points a game? Good for 21st in football. They've had 2 good running games all year long against one of the worst run defenses in football in the Falcons and the worst one against the Giants last Sunday. They're 6-3. That's great and all, but let's be honest, Aaron. And tell me if I'm wrong. You might be 6-3, but the Lions are also 5-2. Are you the Detroit Lions? No. Are you the Rams are also 6-2? Are you the Rams? No. Are you the Buccaneers? No. Like, I think we really have to take a step back and be honest with ourselves and as fans. That's really hard to do. Really hard to do. Because you want to go all in. You want to go buy the big piece. But you can't do that every single year. They did that for 5 years. And they had to have a hard reset. And I don't know if fans maybe are willing to accept that because people on the radio, people on TV, they're, oh, I'm sick to my stomach. Fire John Lynch. And I'm like, do you hear yourself right now? And some people say, oh, the draft picks, they're going to blow them anyways. Do you not see that 16 of your 22 starters are actual draft picks of this roster? The only guys that aren't are your left tackle, your crappy center and Jake Brendel, which whatever, and a couple of defensive linemen who are replacement level guys altogether. Like, I think we really have to dissect what this deadline was. It wasn't a punt. It was an acceptance of this year was never going to be the year, and the health only hurt that.
I think the only argument I have against this, because I agree with pretty much everything you're saying, is I'm fighting with the other side of me is saying like, okay, 2026 is going to be the year, but like Bobo said, like, how do we know? What if we get injured again?
Sure.
And then is what 2027 the year?
Well,
and then what? It's getting like, man, it's frustrating because it's like I understand the plan and I get it, and I want them to be like, I want them to be smart with their draft capital. Like a second round pick for Jermaine Johnson, that's an
overpay. Yeah,
you're overpaying for a guy who doesn't have any production in the league, and he was coming off an Achilles.
Yeah, he's had one good year. That was 2 years ago.
You can't justify that move.
Right.
I wouldn't have minded seeing a Bradley Chubb though. Like that, I don't understand. Like you couldn't come to an agreement with something like that, like a third rounder, maybe. Like that, I don't understand. Like,
but it also depends on what teams are asking for.
But the thing with Bradley Chubb is he in your future plans? Probably not. So
I don't know. No guaranteed money after this year, signed through 2027. You can justify it, but you got Bosa under contract. You have Huff under contract. Mike Hill after the injury will hopefully come back and be good enough for you.
And you're probably going to keep Keon White past this year.
Well, he's under contract through 2026, so why not? And you may bring back one of either, Yetur Gross-Matos, probably not, but definitely Samuel Kawanu is fine enough to bring back.
Yeah.
And you have 8 draft picks. You can hopefully, they're going to draft another edge rusher at some point. We know that.
When you think of the injuries every single freaking year,
yeah.
And there's people that have argued with me on X and I've had to block them because they're just like, they're the shilling of the team and being a kind of like a simp for the Niners. Like you can be a fan, but also be like pragmatic. You can have a feeling of something being awry and still be a fan.
Pessimistic as you want to be.
I'm a pessimistic guy when it comes to the injuries because they've proven in the past that they don't know what the hell they're doing a lot of times.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Well, there is a report really
clear.
And we'll get more into it because Brandon Ayuk stuff, but like people were saying that are really close to the team and we respect them and everything they do, but he might come back by week 1.
That was never going to happen.
What? Week 1 for a guy that tore almost every ligament in his knee? No way.
Dude's knee got shredded. That dude's knee got shredded like one of those the paper shredder where you stick the paper in. Like it was just it was gone.
Which, there's a lot of frustration right now, and I sometimes want to remind fans of like they are 6-3. Like they have 5 winnable games left.
They do
against the Bears, the Titans, the Browns, the Cardinals, and the Panthers. If you're 500 by the end of the year, you're 10-7, and you had probably a playoff berth. And I think at some point, depending on who you play, you can beat a first-round opponent. They're one of the most well-coached teams in football. They're going to have their guys prepared. Like, just because you didn't go literally all in doesn't mean you can't make some noise in the playoffs. Like, wouldn't it be great? And me and you, Aaron, we did a show before the year started with the preview of the schedule. And I told you, 10-7 wild card game against the Rams. Wouldn't it be special to be in SoFi Stadium and knock them out?
Be great.
That's on the table.
And it's still doable too.
Yes.
How?
Yes.
I mean, the Rams are really good. Like Stafford is having an all-time
phenomenal
year.
MVP level
He's
season.
one of the best quarterbacks that's been in the league the last 20 years.
Yes.
People want to take shots at him, this, that, and the other. Dude, like he played for the Detroit Lions, bro. What did you expect? They're a poverty franchise up until recently. So like,
they still kind of are.
They made Megatron freaking retire early because of just how awful of a organization they are. Man, it's just every year in the NFL, like it's so finite, and it's so like, man, to just be like whatever about the year. Sure. We'll do it next year. Next year's the year. We're gonna do it next year. But what if
you
do
it live?
Yeah, like what if you get a bunch of injuries again? Then what? Like I feel like you have to take advantage
on injuries, though, right?
But you got to take advantage of every situation that's in front of you. But at the same time, you can't mortgage the future of draft picks for a second round pick for a guy that's never been proven in the league other than 1 year.
Sure.
You just can't do that. It's stupid.
Or rental options that aren't going to be here past a year.
That's organizational malpractice.
Yes.
You can't you get a stiffy because it's like, oh, he made a move. But did you really make a move? Like, is that move going to move the needle when it comes to playing like the good teams and down the stretch or in the playoffs? Like, I feel like this 49er team, and I hate to say it, they have a shelf life this year. The Niners are like 1 or 2 injuries away from being toast.
There's nothing wrong with being honest with yourself and the team.
I hate to be honest like that because I want to see them win the Super Bowl, but like
because you're going against the fan in you that always wants to be competitive. But like the reality sometimes has to set in of like, we knew Mac Jones, and you said it, I said it. The ceiling is hard. It's a glass ceiling. This team's probably not going to shatter if he's playing quarterback for you throughout the whole year.
He's serviceable.
Could be a playoff run.
He's serviceable and will win you games, but against the really good teams, the well-balanced teams, the well-coached teams in the playoffs, you're not winning with him with that offensive line against Philly or against Tampa again, or Detroit. You're just not. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
And as a fan, I hate saying that.
Me
because
too.
We already beat the Seahawks early in the season. We already beat the Rams. The Buccaneers game was close. Warner, destroys his ankle, and who knows how that game goes if they're all out there. And San Francisco has been, I think, one of the more consistent teams all year. They played every game almost the exact same, besides 2 games, and that was the game against the Texans and the game against Jacksonville. Like those 2 games are outliers for them primarily on both sides of the football. And it's kind of a miracle they've done that, but there's a reason why Kyle Shanahan's name is in the coach of the year category. Yeah, he's a great coach, but it's because what they're doing with the injuries and the lack of talent they actually have. And I think, and we have comments here by Dre, one of our favorites, our third host of the Cover 3 podcast. He says, I think most fans can read the writing on the wall and realize that it would take an amazing feat to win a championship this year, but to not make a move at all, that sends a message to the fans that it might not be worth it. And I think,
I can understand that. I feel that partially.
Okay.
Like you are sending a message to your fans, essentially not making a move is.
But like, what message is that? Of, we know we're not good enough.
We know we're not good enough, and this move's not going to put us over the top. So we're going to do nothing.
What would you rather have, though?
But still come to our games and pay outlandish prices to come to
see
49er
games. Pay $18 for a beer.
Have $45 garlic fries and a $30 beer. And sit in the sun, like 95 to 100 to 15 degrees sun. But we're not gonna go anywhere this year. But you can still pay. That's okay.
Okay, so I think Dre's right. There's a message being sent, not just to the fans, but also to the team in some capacity, and kind of to the rest of the NFL too. Of like, we know who we are, but let me ask you this: would you rather have a GM and head coach just spend every year no matter the injuries, no matter the record, be the Dallas Cowboys, be Jerry Jones, steal headlines, the Dallas Cowboys are probably not going to go to the playoffs.
No.
They're in second place in the division, but the odds would say it's not in their favor. Would you rather be that kind of GM or one that can calculate and say, you know what? I can see the writing on the wall, and it's not wise for us to overspend or spend it all, really, just because the fans want us to, because our record dictates we should.
I think the Niners have been a very professional organization since Kyle and John have been here. So
Sure.
of course I would want that as my front office, as my organization. And they've also been a competitive team for the most part, barring injuries, since 2019. I mean, multiple conference championship appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances against the same team that we lost, that we were in both games. We should have won.
Yeah.
And to me, like, that's all you could really ask for. They've made moves. Christian McCaffrey. That's as big of a he's been a franchise changer since he's been here.
Offensive player.
They're not
the
cheap.
best.
They're not,
Should I dare say the best offensive player they've had since? Like, I love Frank Gore.
he's the best offense player they had since Jerry Rice. 100%.
Thank you.
And
Like,
I lived through all that because I'm 46 almost. I watched Jerry Rice's whole career.
Yeah.
There was nobody that I loved more than Jerry Rice because Jerry Rice could do anything.
Yeah.
He could run the ball. He could catch the ball. He was the ultimate. He blocked. He wasn't a big guy. He was just the ultimate. And he cared. Like, he actually cared. He took care of his body. That's why he was never hurt.
He played until he was 42 for a reason.
Yeah, like Christian McCaffrey, to me, I think when you don't win championships, you look at certain players in your team and you're like, gosh, I wish I could have won it for them. He's definitely one of those guys.
It's like
Same thing with
Gore,
Trent.
Staley, Davis, Kittle.
Yeah.
Like, the entire 2011-2012 Niner team should have a championship right now and deserves one.
Yeah, and so I'm not against the organization. I would much rather have the 49ers front office and just everything they've been the last handful of years. Because to just make moves is just stupid. Like, do you have a plan? Or are you just trying to appease the fan base by saying, hey, look, we made a trade. We're not going to win anything this year, but we made a trade.
Yeah.
The Niners are very, everything has a purpose. Everything has a plan. I think sometimes fans just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, because the Niners haven't won. People are frustrated. They don't want to see you sit on your hands when you have a winning record going into November. They want to see an aggressive move that says, yeah, we're going to go win a championship. We believe in this team. Like, it has been so blatantly obvious since the beginning of the season that John and Kyle expected the Niners to be okay this year. They expected the 49ers to be middle of the pack. And it's a little weird to get that vibe from your front office and your coach. Like, as a fan, I shouldn't be feeling that. You should be smoke and mirroring me to death and telling me all bunch of bullcrap about how we're way better than we actually are. They've been so open about how limited they are on this roster and how they don't have depth and how this year is going to be kind of a tough year. And it's a little off-putting with as a fan, because you're like, guess it doesn't matter if whatever happens, we're not going anywhere. So, like, yeah, don't make a trade because it's not going to matter. You don't have the belief as an organization that we were going to do anything this year. So why should the fans? I don't know. It's weird.
We have a comment here by one of our favorites as well, Lori Matthews. She says, I would have liked to have seen them get a couple of vets off the garbage pile. It would have been beneficial for some young guys to have vets to mentor them. And also just add some insulation to the room entirely that is, just depleted of talent right now with guys like Okwonu and Bryce Huffshire at the top, but then it's like Clelin Ferrell and William Bradley King and Robert Beal Jr. and guys that you don't want to bank on being key rotational pieces for you as the year progresses. I will say this, that we have come accustomed to John Lynch and this team's front office buying players for cheap at the deadline and turning them into, whether it's great special teams guys or key rotational pieces, names like Charles Omenihu, names like Jordan Willis, names, you can go on and, so on and so forth, of guys you buy for cheap. The matter of fact is San Francisco has picks in rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are their own, right? They have 3 scheduled 4th round compensation picks that can change or go away with the draft pick compensation formula based on who they signed. Now, those can be 4th round picks, those can be 5th round picks, or 6th round picks. But right now, they are set for round 4, and that could change. And their 7th round draft pick could eventually go back to the Patriots if Keion White plays 7 games. So in reality, they have actually picks in round 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then a bunch of, I don't know, what could this be, which makes other teams say, well, I don't want that pick. I don't know what it is. Am I getting a round 4 pick or am I getting a round 6 pick? I have no idea. And the 7th round pick might not even be theirs when it's all said and done. So they don't even maybe have the ammunition to buy guys for a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick. And teams are going to say, I'm not going to do a deal with you if I don't know what I'm getting back in return. That isn't smart for me. And it's not smart for John and Kyle to do deals like that either. So the scrap heap may be practice squad players, sure. But they don't, like, teams aren't going to do deals with you without knowing what they're getting back in return. There was no conditional 5th round pick or conditional 6th round picks. This is that pick that's around 4 you traded for, it's actually a pick around 6 now. And if you're the Jets, if you're the Dolphins, like, why would you do that? And so, yes, I get it. Get some depth. Find somebody to help give you more bodies in the room. That's, the bodies are falling left and right. But they didn't even have the ammunition to do that. And I don't think fans realize that either, of like, yeah, I get it. Make a move. With what, though? What move?
When you break it down like that, they need every pick they have going into next year's draft.
Exactly.
Because they have holes.
And if you think about it, let's say San Francisco is bad. Let's say the second half of the year, things go terrible for them. I don't think it will, but let's say it does. And they win 3 more games and they're 9-8. And it's like, oh, well, that wasn't great. You're picking in the teens. That means you have 2 top 50 picks overall. Why would you trade one of those for anybody? That doesn't make sense. Those are coveted picks.
What do you make of Joseph Umberg's pick comment that he says that ownership no longer cares about winning and only about money? It has been pretty obvious that they are. I'm not saying that he's not wrong. I'm not going to say that because there is. I don't know. Sometimes I get that vibe too from the franchise.
And that's probably because of what stemmed from the offseason, right? You cut Leonard Floyd, you trade with Deebo Samuel, you cut Malik Collins. Like, there was a clear cost cutting by San Francisco, right?
Most organizations are not telling you this though.
No, but like, that's
coming
clear.
out. They were so forward. They were so upfront about it that it was a little weird. Like, why are you telling the fans that we're cutting salary this year? So this year is going to suck donkey dong because we're going to have a bunch of rookies that have no experience and no depth. So good luck, guys.
And they were open about maybe regretting the Brandon Ayuk contract, and they traded away some guys we liked, let Greenlaw walk, let Ufunga walk away, and I think, in reality, all those deals were good. Maybe you want to have Leonard Floyd now, but like, sure, he's not really changing much for you. Yeah, he's a body,
right? He's just a body, exactly.
Which Leonard Floyd's always healthy. That's his big thing was durability, but at the price tag, is durability worth 4 sacks a season right now? Malik Collins, sure, it helps, but like, and he's having a great year for cheap. I get that. Jordan Mason was traded away and things like that, but like, in the same offseason that they gutted part of the roster and brought in 11 new draft picks and signed some cheap dudes off the scrap heap, they also re-signed Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner. So, like, if they care that much about money, which they clearly do, but like, they also spent it elsewhere. And I think it's not so much they care more about money than winning. They want to do both. They have done both for the better half of, I don't know, the last 5 years. And I think they just kind of funneled the money elsewhere. They just kind of guided it towards the quarterback, the tight end, and the linebacker that are worth that money. And on top of that, like, okay, yes, there have been some lack of spending. I think you could agree with this, Aaron, and I'm sure the fans could as well. That, like, even if you were against getting draft picks, even if you were maybe now saying, well, what is a third-round draft pick worth for you? Name the starters on defense this year. Now, before week number 9 against the Giants, Michael was out there, right? So Michael started for you on the defensive line. Alfred Collins has been a starter or at least a very integral defensive line piece to help win you the Rams game.
Yes.
Marquis Siegel started the season as a free safety. He got benched, but still. Okay. Bethune, albeit last year's 7th-round draft pick, is starting for you now because Warner went down. D. Winters, a draft pick of 3 years ago, is also starting for you now. It's like Nick Bosa, a draft pick from like 9 years ago, is starting for you now, however long it's been.
Started games.
It's like, and your entire secondary is of draft picks from this year and last year.
It is. And so, like, in that, see, when you say that, that's where I kind of redirect where I'm not as mad, because you see that they've essentially have drafted their, entire defense. Like, that's how you do it, though. You pay your top guys and then you draft. And you draft well, and you try to hit on those draft picks. And then you're able to kind of, like, if you watch a team like the Miami Dolphins, one of the things the Miami Dolphins do, because my brother's a fan, they never keep anybody they draft.
Yeah.
Because they're cheap. They don't want to pay anybody.
Well, and they just traded away Phillips to Miami 2 days ago.
Yeah, like anytime the Miami Dolphins have a really good player that they draft, they're not like the Niners, guys. Like, we're spoiled. The Niners do everything in their power to re-sign their own guys. Be a fan of the Miami Dolphins like my brother. They don't re-sign anybody. They just draft people, they get really good, and then they go play for somebody else, and the Dolphins are left with nothing.
Besides Tua.
So.
Besides Tua Tagovailoa.
I'm not saying that you got to, like, accept mediocrity and this and that, but, like,
you should want to win.
The Niners, we talked about this in the offseason, how thin they were and how they couldn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
And it happened exactly like we said. If they lose a Warner, if they lose a Bosa, they're beat, dude. They're beat. Yeah. Trent Williams said it best last week. The Niners are really close to, like, having the straw that breaks the camel's back. They're like 1 or 2 injuries. Like, if they lost Christian McCaffrey for the rest of the season, they're done. They're done. They're over. It's over.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I can understand why you wouldn't make, like, a move at the deadline to essentially, like, oh, here's this nice piece on defense. Oh, Christian McCaffrey's out. Oh God, now we don't have a 2nd-round pick. Oops, we can't replace anything. If we have a, maybe we want to get another edge piece. We can't get that now because we gave it away to a guy who's really had no production and is coming off an Achilles injury, and he has a really cool name. He looks like a professional player, but what has he really done? So in a way, they're being realistic. I'm an old school fan, like a lot of these people in the chat. Sure. I grew up during when they were winning championships. And to me, if championship or bust isn't your mentality, you shouldn't be in sports. It shouldn't be just a business to you. I don't think that is what it is with the 49ers. I do think that they are committed to winning. I just think they're too open with how they do everything, and it rubs fans the wrong way. Like, they were been so open about how this year was a reset year. Like, why would you put that out there to your fan base? Don't say that. Don't say that. So your fans automatically think this year's a wash anyways. Like, you shouldn't have, like, that was the one thing about this year that's been kind of frustrating for me, is just, like, I know in my heart the 49ers really weren't going to be they won't be competitive, like, long-term, like, into the playoffs and stuff. Like, so, like, when I watch games this year, I'm just kind of trying to have fun. Gives me something to talk about on YouTube a couple days a week. It's pretty much all it is, man. Like, because the front office is so open about saying that this year was essentially a reset. Like, they weren't even trying to hide it. So fans are frustrated. They're like, oh, they only care about money. They only care about lightning, patting their pockets, and they're being cheap, as like people like to say. Like, is Jed York going back to his old ways? Are the 49ers going to go back to being the team that doesn't spend, I don't think that's the case, but I can understand the frustration.
Well, I think, the reason why we're having the conversation, the reason why we love the fan interaction is because this is what kind of happened today when Mike Silver dropped this kind of randomly on Twitter, or on X now. And he said in a quote, or in a tweet, in a post, I guess is what they're called, the reason so many Niner fans and plenty of people in inside the building are frustrated with the team, or that the team didn't make any trades yesterday, isn't because they're in search of some knee-jerk sugar high. It's because this injury-plagued defense, as currently constituted, isn't good enough. So it's not just the fans. There are some people inside the building feeding Mike Silver the information that they know the defense isn't good enough. Now, I'm assuming because of the injuries, they realize we are running out of bodies. And the fact that the front office didn't get them more bodies, didn't bring in some reinforcements, is maybe an indictment on John Lynch, maybe an indictment on Kyle Shanahan, maybe on Jed York, Parag Marate. Right now, San Francisco has around $20 million in cap space. They presumably want to carry it over into next year to help ease the pain of paying Brock Purdy more money, Ayuk more money, Bosa and company more money. I don't even know if San Francisco could have done anything worthwhile to help anybody. Like, this young defense that has been, yes, depleted of talent ever since week 3. Bosa's gone, Warner's gone, Michael's gone. They're holding teams to 20.9 points a game. That's 10th best in football. Like, it's not as if this team is playing bad. They had a couple bad games, but even against the Houston Texans,
I wouldn't say
they didn't score 30 points.
the Niners defense to me is just like a basic defense. They're just just a bunch of guys. They don't have an identity. They don't rush the passer well or at all. They're kind of not really that great at stopping the run.
They have three good secondary pieces, and then kind of a bunch of guys you hope can play up to par that day.
Yeah, they're not a championship level defense.
No, they're not.
It is crazy though that in the building, somebody would be pissed off enough to be like, "We know we're undermanned, and they didn't do anything to help us with it."
Who do you think it was? Speculate for me.
Who might be pissed? Probably Robert Saleh.
Okay.
I don't know. Rob seems like a team first guy, but he might have been like, not nothing. Really? We just lost Michael for the season. You're not going to give me anything? Bradley King, really? That's your answer to me? Like, are you just
probably the answer?
That's what everybody's
trying to say. Do you think it's a player?
Like,
do you think it's a player or a coach? Because Kyle Chipto says Trent Williams, and that to me makes a lot of sense. It's like, who else is there?
He did say something about John Lynch will do his magic or something, and the fact that he did nothing.
He said that the team would put the front office to put the team in the right place, and they hope they can make a move.
And they didn't do one.
He's 36 now. I don't think it's enough to change much. Like, he's not going to be upset and go through a tirade. But I get it. His clock's ticking. But this was a conversation I had with somebody on X. They were saying you owe it to Trent. You owe it to Christian McCaffrey. You owe it to Kittle. I said 3 guys don't dictate the future of your organization or your team, knowing that you don't have the dogs to one acquire, but also even if you got Trey Hendrickson or you got Jermaine Johnson or Quinnen Williams, they're not making you a contender overnight. They make you better, sure. But you're not winning a championship if you just pluck away Trey Hendrickson and put him on your team. You're not.
I think what it is it's just they're kind of resolute in their stance of like, we know we're not good enough this year, so that's it. Like, I think a player like Trent doesn't want to hear that shit. He doesn't want to hear it.
Sure.
Like, really, that's your stance? Like, I'm here. I'm going on 40 years old. I've had a ton of injuries. I survived cancer. I'm here. I'm your best offensive lineman by far. And we're just going to, at the trade deadline, just, that's okay. Like, as a player who's got not a lot of time left, yeah, I'd be pissed too. I'd be really pissed. And it's interesting that came out, that news, but kind of like it in a way, because maybe it'll make its way to John Lynch. Maybe I don't know. I like sometimes when stuff like this comes out, as Steve Young likes to call it, creative tension. Sometimes it's good to have a little tension behind the scenes. It is.
Well, Kyle Shanahan was asked today on the team not making any moves. And his quote was essentially this: just because you make a big trade doesn't mean it's always a smart move. ... We looked into a ton of them, but the asking price was too high. I don't think San Francisco didn't make a move without trying. They called the Titans for Arden Key. The asking price was too high. They called the Jets for Jermaine Johnson. The asking price was too high. They called the Bengals as early as week 5, and the asking price was too high for Trey Hendrickson. And Bradley Chubb didn't get traded to anybody because the asking price was also too high. Like, it wasn't just like the Niners didn't get their guy. Nobody got any of the players San Francisco called about. They tried. True. Nobody got those guys. The asking price wasn't just too high for San Francisco. It was too high for everybody.
I think the frustration just comes from the fact that they've been so open about this year being a reset. So it's like,
that make you more
what's
accepting
the point?
Of what year could be?
Yes, but it's also for fans. It's like, what's the point? Like, what are we doing? Like, why am I even invested this year? If this
because
year
they're
don't
6-3 and they're in the playoff hunt.
But
this team was 3-5 and came back and went to the NFC Championship game.
No, but I understand that, and I'm happy that they're 6-3. I'm not mad. I'm just saying I understand why fans who have been fans a long time and people pay season ticket prices, none of them want to hear it's a reset year, man. Because if it is, why am I invested? If it doesn't mean anything to the front office, and the front office is laissez-faire about it because we're all about 2026 and beyond, what the hell am I doing going to games and paying money for if it doesn't matter? Fans get, and I understand that. They were so open about it, about being so transparent about we're resetting. This is a reset year. We're going to take our lumps, which pretty much tells fans, team ain't going to really be that talented. We're going to have some rookies. They're probably going to suck sometimes. They'll get good eventually. They're probably going to, we're probably going to lose some games because our young defense is just, inexperienced and making mistakes. And that's exactly what happened. And like a fan who gets, why wouldn't you get excited at the possibility of a Trey Hendrickson coming here? In my mind, I knew it was never going to happen, but I like Trey's excitement about it because you want to think that your organization is Super Bowl or bust every single year. Me, I kind of knew they weren't. But I understand why fans are pissed because your organization essentially came out and just said that this year is pretty much a reset. And if we go to the playoffs and do good this year, great. But if we don't, that's okay too. Like that's the kind of the message that was brought out or came out of this, especially this offseason. They were so open about this being a reset. Like they weren't even trying to hide the fact that they were cost cutting. Like they didn't make any moves in free agency. They did, but they were like kind of a lot of special team moves. And they were just like, yeah, we're gonna replace everybody through the draft. And like a lot of fans were like,
do you know what's funny though? You know what's funny? One of their small cost-cutting moves was signing Mac Jones, who has saved their season.
He has.
It's like, I get it. They're cost-cutting, and I get it. Like they're competitive during the reset. They're 6-3 during the retooling. Now,
people want to see a Rams type situation where they got a Jared Verse out of it.
But that is a perfect transition. The Rams reset last year. The Rams reset 2 years ago. They got Jared Verse. They got all these young guys. This is just, and they were competitive during the reset. This is San Francisco's reset. This is their Rams year where they're competitive during the reset. It's a first round exit in the playoffs. The Rams didn't want to do that. They won a Super Bowl. But they realized, hey, we're paying Odell Beckham Jr. and Jalen Ramsey and Von Miller and Aaron Donald and all these guys big money. We can't do that forever. We're paying Cooper Kupp loads of money. He'll be gone in a year. Why is it okay when the Rams do it, but when the Niners do it, it's a problem?
Because they won a Super Bowl. Because they won a Super Bowl.
But that doesn't mean...
At least it's what I think.
It justifies it, though. It justifies the reset. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm going to take you back to 2004, okay?
Okay.
2003, we had Jeff Garcia.
Yeah.
We had Terrell Owens. We did all this stuff. But we had cap constraints that were carried over from the 90s that were still... The Niners were paying for guys that hadn't been in the team for years. So the Niners in 2004, they had to reset everything. They had to get rid of all big price players, including T.O. and Jeff Garcia, and they had to gut the whole thing because they were paying money to guys that were no longer on this team. I don't know if you guys remember, but like in the late 90s, the Niners brought in like Chris Dolman and Kevin Green and Rod Woodson, and they had it was just, they brought on all these defensive players. Ken Norton got paid a lot of money. Like all these money got kind of put on the 49ers, and a lot of it was they kept kicking it downhill, or as they say, down the road, like, they'll kick the can situation, and they had to pay it. And they were bad for a while because they had to do that. At least we're competitive. You imagine like telling your fan base pretty much like, yeah, we're probably not even going to win 2 games this year. We've gutted everything, and we suck at drafting as well. So, I mean, at least my whole worry was they didn't make at least 1 or 2 moves in free agency to kind of insulate themselves from a possible injury situation later on in the season. And that's exactly what my worry came to pass was.
Okay. You say that, and I would agree. But they did insulate themselves. They got Mac Jones, insulated the quarterback position. They traded away Jordan Mason, got themselves a safety, added Marquis Siegel. Then they traded for Brian Robinson to give them an RB2. They drafted Jordan James to give him an RB4. He hasn't played, I get that, but still. They went and signed DeMarcus Robinson. They brought back a restructured Jawan Jennings. They had Pearsall. They have Cowling. I know he's hurt and hasn't played. They drafted Jordan Watkins. They drafted Junior Burgeon, albeit he isn't great. They signed Russell Gage on the offensive line. And I get it. That's been a big problem. We can all say and agree that's been a big problem. But they had Ben Barch. They had Burford. They drafted Connor Colby, albeit I would have gone O-line earlier.
Oh,
but still.
Earlier.
But like the defensive line, you trade for Bryce Huff, you draft Alfred Collins, you draft Micah Williams, you draft CJ West. Like, I know the injuries have piled up in this insane rate, and there certainly is problems. They had to figure out the injuries, fire somebody. Someone's head has to roll for some of this stuff.
Yeah,
but they did insulate themselves.
You're right. You're right. I mean, if you look at it without the injuries, first of all, the offense should be way better this year, but they've all been hurt. Brock Purdy's been hurt. I mean, you think about some of the players we have on this offense. The Niners have no excuse when healthy why they can't score 35 points a game and help a young defense. Yeah. No excuse in my book when healthy, but they haven't been healthy, and they're never healthy. That's the problem.
I would agree. Yeah, I agree.
And defensively, yeah, we knew that it was going to be a really thin unit. I mean, there's been some bright spots, I think. I think Alfred Collins was the guy that a lot of people were down on in training camp and early in the season. He's probably been the best player out of the whole bunch. CJ West, I don't really know what to make of him, but
he hasn't played much.
Siegel's been kind of bad. Upton Stout's kind of up and down.
Sure, but they've started games as a rookie.
Yeah, they've got experience.
Like Siegel saved you with Chase Lucas and with Alfred Collins the game against the Los Angeles Rams. Made the game-saving tackle. They've had their problems, sure. Upton Stout gets an amazing game-saving PBU against the Cardinals. Like, I could argue that I feel better about the 2026 San Francisco 49ers knowing they reset, knowing this draft class looks relatively good outside of some guys that haven't played yet. Like, my expectation for next year is, Super Bowl or bust, because your entire defense will be back next year. Your entire offense is essentially back next year. Like, the carryover's there.
Plus, you have a first-round pick and a second-round pick and a third-round pick. You should make 3 impact draft picks. You probably should get an edge. You probably should get an offensive lineman or 2.
Yeah. You might have to get a receiver. Who knows?
Yeah, like you gotta no, I understand, and I am 2026. But fans don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. I mean,
quite frankly, fans can kind of get over it.
Well, at this point, there's not really, with the way things have gone, there's not really we don't have a choice. Like the trade deadline's over, so we have to get over it. Right. I understand.
Do you think that's the issue, though? That fans weren't willing yet to accept that this year wasn't an all-in year until the trade deadline came and went, and they didn't do anything.
The trade deadline. I think the trade deadline signaled to fans that they're not all in this year. They weren't sure.
Reality set in finally.
Reality set in that the Niners, and I said this to you internally, I think the Niners know what they really are.
Yeah.
Which
is good, not good enough.
They're good, but they're not good enough, and they're undermanned, and they got a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Fans, unfortunately, because they're fans, they love their team so much.
Yes, as they should.
This trade deadline said to them, hey guys, this move, if you make it or not, really not going to change much. We're still going to be probably one and done in the playoffs, and our defense is still going to suck really bad because they're just not really that good, and they just don't have enough impact players. So, sorry. Maybe next year, though. Like, fans get pissed. They have every right to, especially if you invest money into this team.
Yeah.
That's why this is why I tell people, stop buying jerseys. Buy T-shirts. T-shirts and hats. I have a ton of I don't have any Niners jerseys this year or previous year. Why would you do that? Look at the, look at that video of that poor kid who was it the Sauce Gardner?
Oh,
he was all sad because his favorite Jets player, it's okay though. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just gonna enjoy the season wherever it goes. It does kind of suck though when you're kind of like, what am I cheering for? Like, we're not even gonna, what I mean?
But I think even that is like, oh, what am I cheering for? They are 6-3, man. Like,
right. I know.
Like, you're almost cheering for them to upset somebody else.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yes.
How can you make the most out of a really crappy situation?
They're not expected to be great this year, so every win that they get is like bonus, I guess. Especially if they beat good teams, say like the Rams. Like, if you can ruin somebody's season this year with the team that don't belong up there, that would be incredible. But at the end of the day, I think
it's possible.
But at the end of the day, it's going to wear off pretty quickly for fans. They're going to be like, oh, cool. We got the Rams eliminated. We're still not in the playoffs, or we're done. We're out of the playoffs, or we're not winning a championship. So that will run out very quickly. That kind of dopamine high of, oh, we cost the Rams. Or if we were in the AFC, oh, we cost the Chiefs. We took them out.
But to me, there is some gratitude of wow, we beat the Rams, ended their Super Bowl hopes in our retooling year. Imagine had the Rams beaten the Lions on the road in Detroit in 2023 during their rebuilding year. The only difference is in that Rams team and this team is, they're fully healthy, but also so is their quarterback and so are their star receivers. That's the only difference. I don't think being an underdog to me, although it stinks at times, I kind of invite it.
I don't know about you, but every game I watch, I don't think the Niners are going to win. And every game that they win,
oh, I know, I know.
all you got to do is just go with me on the ride on social media,
or just watch the Cover 3. It's always me and Dre pulling you out of the depths.
I'm off the edge. I'm gonna jump. But I'm always been like that, bro.
Sure, I get that.
I'm such a negative. I'm negative because it's been 30 years since we won a championship, but some people are negative and they don't want to ever admit any positives with the 49ers. I will always admit that I think Kyle and Saleh are doing a freaking unbelievable job this year with the situation the way that it is. Somebody made in the comments he thinks Saleh stays. I hope he does. I hope Saleh stays. They need him. They need him for another year at least.
Well, it's actually a good question, and I think it was from Lloyd Matthews.
I'm fun at parties. I don't go to parties.
Lloyd Matthews asks, Sterling, do you think Saleh stays? I think so. I don't know what team is offering a defensive-minded head coach a coaching job as a head coach. Who is going to have open head coaching spots when the year's over? Maybe the Bengals, but they don't seem like they didn't trade anybody besides their linebacker, and that was basically it. They kept all their pieces. So Zach Taylor seems like he's safe. The Dolphins, I don't know if they're trading Mike McDaniel.
I don't understand. They're saying they're going to keep him the rest of the year,
but might fight him in the offseason. I don't get that. So maybe the Dolphins.
And for all you fans that want to bring McDaniels back, stop.
Hey, good run game coordinator, but that's kind of it.
I don't want to. No,
Um,
I don't want his weirdness near my organization. He's a
he was in it
freaking
for a
weird.
while when they were really good.
I think that man is on the booger sugar.
He might
And
be. Hey, I mean, Chris
yeah,
Forrester was. He got a job in San Francisco.
yeah. Well, bring them all back then. California. It's
Um,
it's
who
totally okay.
who else could Robert Saleh coach? The Jets, no,
Uh
he's already there. They just have Aaron Glenn. Vrabel's great in New England. They're not firing him.
no.
I do wonder if McDermott and the Giants or the Bills fail.
Arizona.
Was Saleh go to Buffalo? I don't know though. I
They
think
don't need that kind of coach in Buffalo. They need an offensive coach.
right.
Actually, no.
Which
Well, technically,
well,
no. Maybe they do need but their
see,
secondary is pretty good this year.
honestly, if I'm the Cardinals, if I'm the Giants, if I'm the Bills, and they don't go to the Super Bowl, I'm going and I'm getting Clay Kubiak from Seattle. That dude's awesome. Having a great year with the Seahawks and Sam Darnold. Imagine what he can do with Josh Allen. But I don't know. Like, I don't think there's even a spot for Saleh to go to. Like
Yeah,
nothing. Like even for him to leave, it's like, I'm
my
good.
brother seems to think that Saleh is just always going to be good as a coordinator. He doesn't think
Which is
that
fine.
he doesn't think that Saleh is he's just not. It's not that he's not smart enough.
No, he's very smart.
He's just some guys are a one trick pony, and their one trick is really good. You know, like Spagnuolo, really good defense
Right.
coordinator.
The best case scenario is San Francisco has their Andy Reid and their Spagnuolo for the next 10 years.
That would be incredible.
And it's just Kyle and Saleh just scheming everybody out of the water, which it's happening this year. Like the coaching has been insane besides one game against the Texans. And in the Jaguars game, Purdy threw 2 picks and the offense looked bad, but it happens. It happens.
Montana had bad games too. So does Steve Young.
Right. And I think, like the Niners coaching staff, I think for once in a long time, like I do think Gus Bradley might leave to be DC elsewhere. I can see it happening. But that's kind of it. Like that's where I really think the big change might come. Gus Bradley wanting to be defensive coordinator again in 2026. But it's like, besides that, it's like, whatever. I do want to get to a small injury update that does have some conflicting reports because we talk injuries.
No way.
The entire time.
Water wet, sky blue injury report for the 49ers that might not.
It's always something, and it's usually it's a two-faced bold lie. If there aren't many truths in this world, one is gravity is real. The second one is San Francisco always lies about the injuries.
They have no idea what they're doing ever when it comes to injuries.
None.
I've never seen one team go on radio or have a press conference where they literally say nothing. They don't say anything.
Yeah.
He'll be healthy when he's healthy. And when he's healthy, maybe he'll come back sometime this season, but it takes time. He's not ready yet. I would, like it's just a bunch of, it's like word diarrhea. Like, what are we talking about? I don't know.
Well, today we got rather interesting reports about Brandon Ayuk, who obviously had his knee destroyed last year against Kansas City. A lot of people are wondering if Ayuk even returns this season. I am one of those that believes he will return this year at some point in time, but the clock is ticking. The year is winding down. We're entering into the second half, and if the more games you miss, the more time you don't get to play. And fans are wondering, will Brandon Ayuk return in 2025? When asked about it today, Kyle Shanahan said he's pretty confident that Brandon Ayuk at first said will play this season, then quickly said will at least open up his practice window.
And me and you went back and forth on this one.
We have.
Where you were like, to me, it sounds like they don't know. Which I said early in the season, I don't think they know what's going on with Brandon Ayuk. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back this year.
Do you think that this is Kyle being like, the medical staff doesn't know? I'm trying to just be a middleman for you guys because they don't know what's going on.
If that's what it is,
I don't know what's going on.
Then I don't know what other evidence you need to get rid of the current staff. Like, if your own medical staff doesn't understand what's wrong with your players,
Yeah.
when their
Or the
profession
length
is
they'll be
to
at.
yeah, and then with their profession, what they do for a living is to be, a whatever the strength and conditioning doctors,
Yeah.
whatever. If that's your profession and you don't understand, or you don't know, or you can't give definitive answers, what are you doing in that profession? Like, it's like, to me,
Yep.
it's like politics. You just go up
Well,
on stage and you say a bunch of,
that's
like,
all politics is, though, nowadays.
yeah, like you just say a bunch of
nonsense.
you say a bunch of nonsense. You talk in circles. You promise
Yeah.
things that aren't there. How many times have you heard the Niners say, we have a window, he's going to be back? I really believe so. And then they come back the next week and they said, well, we've had a setback. He's actually not coming back. In fact, he's going to go on IR for the rest of the year. Like,
which I think that is my frustration, your frustration, many fans' frustration with it, because I didn't think Ayuk was going to come back until at least week 10. Like, that was my target date. I figured
right, same.
3 weeks after the 1 year of the injury. It just, like, this week against the Rams made sense. But he's not back. He's not going to come back this game, which, okay, it's fine.
You said that they can open the practice window at any time, so he can come back essentially any time.
Yes.
Soon.
And I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but I believe they changed the injured reserve rules where guys can come back in the playoffs too.
I think the better they do, the better the chances he's coming back. They have a second half collapse, and it looks like they're heading for missing the playoffs or something. He's not coming back. Why would you waste it?
But even then, it's so, like, this is kind of a double-edged sword, because on one end, the better you do, the less likely you may need Brandon Ayuk, right? Say Pearsall comes back, Jennings is playing better because he's getting healthier, Robinson's more in the frame, maybe Cowling returns, who knows, probably not, but who knows, Kittle's playing good football, and the offense is rolling. If you're playing good football, why would Ayuk come back, right? Like, that, there is one aspect of, like, to shelve him, let him get 100%, 120% healthy, and we'll see in the offseason, right? The other side of that, too, is if you're falling apart, let's say you lose against the Rams, you lose against the Cardinals, and you lose against the Panthers, and now you're sitting here at 6-6 and going in week 13, and you're like, oh my God, this is catastrophic. You may also say, why would we rush or bring Ayuk back? Like, what's the purpose? But I think he's going to come back. I think he is. I think for how much whoever in that front office hates the move they made of re-signing him, it would be idiotic to not bring him back this year. Now, he has to be healthy.
Do you think Kyle wanted Ayuk back and
yes.
Lynch did not?
Well, I don't think it was a Lynch thing. I think it was Parag and Jed, more Parag, probably like, we can't pay this dude. He wants $30 million a year. No way. And Kyle was like, that's my number one wide receiver. I have a plan to have him healthy and Pearsall healthy. We're going to go out there and crush man coverage consistently, and we're going to be unstoppable because we have Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and Kittle. And in one fell swoop, the entire thing crumbled down. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. Purdy was healthy, but the team was bad last year. And then Ayuk got his leg destroyed. And then Pearsall got shot.
Forgot about that. Oh yeah.
I think in a perfect world, all those guys were healthy coming into last year. You see a much different Niner offense, and we're all sitting back like, oh my God, what an investment of Brandon Ayuk. The injury is the only thing I think that makes the Ayuk deal bad so far, because there's been zero return on the investment, and we're going into year 2 of it.
He wasn't an injury-prone player coming up until he got injured last year.
He had missed one game.
Yeah. Like, you can't go with like, oh, the injury guy. Guys always have it. Even I, who complain about injuries, know that Ayuk was relatively healthy until last year. The fact that, like, was it Silver that said that he doesn't think he's coming back, and then it's the 49ers.
Yeah. So Shanahan said he's pretty confident. That was the major 2-word quote, pretty confident that Ayuk will at least have his practice window opened. this year and could play this season. He also said right now it's more about the recovery and kind of hitting the check marks, including the GPS tracker. So he isn't up to full speed just yet in regards to what they think he needs to when it comes to playing. But Mike Silver, in a Twitter thread answering some fans' questions about Purdy returning, Pearsall coming back, and Aiyuk returning back, his response was BA ? We shall see. So there was some skepticism from Silver of Aiyuk returning, which he was the guy to report, him Kawakami were the two guys to report that they didn't want him. And Kyle probably forced their hand. This story racing up to the front office and saying, don't trade him. He's going to sign. He's caved or whatever, or we've caved, whatever. But do you think Aiyuk returns? 2, do you think, let's say there is a vendetta against him in the front office, which in some ways there seems to be one from somebody up there. Wouldn't it benefit them if he's healthy to play him this year, if they want to trade him, if they want to move off him, or even if they want to get some return on their investment as early as 2025?
Yeah, I think if that's the case, if they're still not sold on keeping him, then all the powers that be should be whatever, voodoo or freaking, witch doctor stuff you got to do to make sure he comes back this year. Do it. Because personally, I think this offseason he could be traded if he comes.
Going into next year, 2026, Aiyuk has a $15.3 million cap hit. If they trade him, they'll take on nearly $30 million in dead cap, but free up around 14 in cap savings. However, he doesn't have guaranteed money in 2027 and 2028. So theoretically, they could move his money around and make him a heck of a lot cheaper the next 3 years, almost reducing the need to even trade him.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know what to do. If he's healthy, he's a damn good wide receiver.
He's a very good wide. He's not an elite wide receiver,
but he was an all-pro.
But he's an all-pro. He's a pro. He's good. He's a good player. He's a good player.
Yes.
In the construct of this offense as a whole, he's a very good piece. Like when he's there and Chris McCaffrey's here and Kittle's running at a high level. Oh, Niners got a pretty good trio right there. Just those guys. Before you add in Pearsall,
argue it's the best offense in football.
With them, man, that's what sucks with them not being healthy, bro.
Yeah.
Because on paper, man, you look at that offense, even with like a guy like Watkins who has speed. If the Niners ever grew like some testicles and would like throw deep once in a while, man, like they have everything. They have a tight end that blocks in the run game. He's also a receiver. They got a couple of 2 all around really good receivers that. They're not like burners, but they get open, they make catches. They got their third down guy, their move the stick guy in Juwan Jennings, and then they got their all-purpose running back who does everything, and it's just and a really good fullback too. Like, yeah, it's pretty awesome on paper, but like you don't win on paper. It's just that's why the injury thing to me is just so aggravating. It's because you're sick of waiting. Like when this thing that we talk about is actually going to come to fruition and how good they could be and where they could go. It's always like next year or later this season. It's like that's why I think fans got jumpy at the trade deadline. They're like, we don't know anything that's going on with the injuries this year. At least we can make one thing for certain, and that's we're bringing somebody in. And when they didn't do that, now it's question mark after question mark. And you're thinking like, are they all in? Are they waving the white flag? It's like there's just so much of that this year that I think if they had made a move at the trade deadline, it might have kind of shut everybody up for a while, like appeased fans for a little bit. And the fact that they didn't, and we still have all these questions, we just still don't know when Pearsall's coming back. That's like the $64,000 question. That was a 70s game show, by the way.
Oh, I got it. my parents were older. I get it.
The $64,000 question. So like. But we don't know anything about that either. Like, I know PCLs can take a long time, but like a lot of fans are getting to the point with me where like, is this like, did they mess up again and draft another receiver that's never going to see the field because he's always hurt? People are getting.
So the crazy thing about Pearsall, he wasn't hurt his final 3 years in college.
Only when he came to of course.
Like, I'm not kidding you. The
It's that
offseason
it's the
Pearsall
power
got
lines.
drafted. The minute Pearsall got drafted, he gets shot, hurts his shoulder in training camp, and misses half the last season. Comes back healthy, looks pretty good. And this year, misses a large chunk of camp again, and then hurts his PCL in week number 4.
Falling on like a patch of cement on the sidelines. Like,
I don't know what it was.
what the heck is that? Why do you have like a bowling alley strip just sitting there on the sideline where when a guy falls, because you know they don't wear knee pads anymore.
Dude, it reminded me of when Stephen Curry, a couple years ago, he like fell on his butt. I think he was in Minnesota, and he fell on like this like metal pipe stand on the sideline going for a ball and like broke his tailbone and was out for like a month. People were like, why is that there?
Like, why is there a pipe over there? Yeah, like what's going on?
Or it's like when Reggie Bush fell, I think it was in St. Louis, and he tore his ACL and ended his entire career. Why is the patch of concrete surrounding the stadium? Like, what's going on?
Why do you have a track that goes around the stadium where it's all turf, but this patch right here is like cobblestone or brick? Like, what are we doing? Like, how is there a patch on the 49ers sideline? It's like a void that like a player falls, he falls into, and we never see him again.
Dude, it is.
They sealed it up.
It's Murphy's Law, man. It's if an injury can occur, it will occur for San Francisco. But you mentioned the fact that it's the EMF lines, brother. But you mentioned that they didn't make a move at the deadline, and fans just wanted one move. Could have been anybody. It could have been a depth guy. Could have been Joe Blow. But they have had some interest and have shown some interest in free agent cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. He is scheduled, I believe, for a visit next Monday, following week number 10 against the Rams. So knowing San Francisco's luck, somebody else will get hurt, and signing him may become an actual need for them when week 11 comes around. But fingers crossed, no more injuries happen this year. But the odds would say it's going to happen no matter what. That said, when you see San Francisco expressing interest midseason into a young-ish cornerback, a guy that was a second-round draft pick, somebody I wanted the Niners to take, I believe it was in 2021. Trey Lance round 1, Aaron Banks went in round 2. I wanted Asante Samuel Jr. Had an up-and-down career. One good year with the Chargers and got hurt the last couple. What do you make of it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you think it fits what San Francisco's doing?
I mean, he's been injured a lot, so he fits right into what we do here.
The archetype is there.
To me, if healthy, which is kind of like what we say about everybody here, that's like the 49ers, any conversation you want to start, it should always be if healthy. Preface it every single conversation. So, if healthy, and he gets cleared and his neck or back issue is not what it, was, and he's gotten better from it. To me, it's a win-win situation. You buy low, and then eventually if he becomes anything, then his career can take off somewhere else. Like the Niners could give him an opportunity, why not? Larry Krueger made a good point. We can't rush the passer. Why don't we just have 3 really good corners out there in the secondary covering everybody to make up for the fact that we have 0 pass rush, like ever?
Do you think there's an actual space for him in the secondary?
I don't know if he can play slot. I don't know if he's ever played slot in his career.
I don't even think they want to bench Stout. You heard Shanahan today. The dude glazed him up of like, I love Upton Stout. He's so good, having a great year. He's a young guy. I'm really proud of him. Love how he plays. I don't think they even want to bench Stout. And Lucas has been pretty good this year as well behind him.
Why not just get him for depth then?
Who does he replace on the roster then? If you sign somebody has to go.
Number 28, Darrell Luter.
But even he's been better this year. And he's under contract for 2 more, or this year and next year, I believe.
I don't know.
They're kind of in a bind.
Pinnock?
But he started when Stout got it just kind of
we don't. I don't know. Let's see who at wide receiver.
They actually have some depth at the secondary positions.
Okay, Sky Moore.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But who's your punt returner
then? Your punt returner and kick returner should both be Robinson.
Robinson can't do punt returns though.
Oh, we can't do punt returns. Jeez, I don't know.
They're kind of stuck.
I get
Unless Jordan Watkins can do it, which I don't know how comfortable they are with him, but that to me feels like a role he should be filling if he's a rookie.
Yeah,
be on special teams.
Yeah, put Watkins back there, get rid of Sky Moore and bring this guy in. Put him on the depth chart, or put him on the practice squad and then elevate him. I don't know, try it. Why not?
Do you know? So would you sign him to a 2-year contract then? Hopefully buy low, have him around for next year, give you some depth.
Have him compete in training camp. Why not? Why not bring him in next year in training camp and see if he can make the team? Why would you be against if healthy a secondary that has Bernardo Green, who he's struggled a little bit. He's not a perfect corner.
No.
He's up and down, but he's pretty solid. He made a game-saving breakup last week that was awesome. Yeah. Great coverage.
Yeah.
Demo, a little bit with the grabbies this year, but like he's literally like
he's one of the best.
He's their best defense. Yeah. He's their best great defensive player left. Like if you had to say Bosa, Warner,
don't jinx
Demo. And why not add to it, And you have Mustafa already. Some people said play him at safety.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. I'm hoping that's the case where like he's an older guy, doesn't love the tackle that much. He's still young, but older.
And he have the legs to play deep free safety. I think why not? Why not try it?
I mean, does Jair Brown have the legs? He's still doing it. He's not very good at it. Like,
dude, Jair Brown sucks. He's horrible.
Yeah, he's not good. He's not good.
He is dog water piss. Like he just sucks.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy just completely. Oh, he's always out of position or a step slow. Like anytime they give up a touchdown, somehow Jair Brown is in the vicinity. It's like you said, Murphy's Law. I don't know why.
There was a play on Sunday against the Giants where they do like a quarterback run and Jair Brown just like sliding into the tackle box and like doesn't touch anybody, doesn't even look at the quarterback, and just runs runs away from his position, his area, his place of needing to be, and it's like slides to the middle linebacker, the Mike linebacker, doesn't engage anybody, and just watches Dart walk into the end zone. And I was like, why is he out there? like why? Even the PBU fans said the guy dropped the football in the end zone. He didn't do anything. But I would be open to Asante Samuel for a 2-year deal. The rest of this year, get him in camp and practice. Hope he can stay healthy. I would love to see him play free safety.
Why not?
Not a big tackler. I don't know if he wants to do that. I don't know if he even can.
If you're trying to resurrect your career, and you've been out as long as you have, why would you be against it?
Do you know the injury that he had?
Some sort of spinal,
dude. He had a spinal neck fusion.
Jeez.
Dude,
would you even want to be on the football field? You're like one hit away from death, dude.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I know like guys can wrestle. Sting, Stone Cold Steve Austin, they've all had their spinal neck fusions, and they come back and they wrestled and didn't fine. But like,
turn into Kurt Angle and your whole body goes atrophy. You know what I mean?
Like that. Like wrestling can somewhat be controlled because it's performative and like. It's dangerous, sure, but like it's still like you can kind of protect yourself. There's ways you take bumps and hits.
Right.
The NFL, man, it's just you can get blindsided and boom, it's over. And like you already saw Damar Hamlin.
Michael Irvin's career ended.
Right. Well, you can just go recently as Damar Hamlin.
Right in
like
the turf.
One hit, and he died on the field. And obviously that's terrible. And thank God he's alive still and everything. But it's like football's so dangerous, man.
Football is such a dangerous sport. My mother didn't allow me to play high school football. I'm the same height.
I don't have kids. My wife is like, our kids are not playing tackle football.
Sports? No, my mom was. Well, I'm about 6'3".
Okay.
But I weighed in high school like 135. I was walking bag of bones in high school. My mom's like, no way. And then you see what happened to Joe Montana, because I'm a big 49er fan. My mom's a big Montana fan. We love Joe. And Joe was a skinny little guy, quarterback. Like some of the hits he used to take. My mom's like, she's like, it would destroy me if I watched you take hits like that. Like some of the hits, especially in the 80s. If you ever get a chance, watch the Jim Kelly documentary from NFL Network. Dude, his first game, he plays against like the Jets defensive line from the mid 80s. He literally gets like picked up and slammed, like scoop slammed onto the ground in his first. I'm like, whoa.
It's like you're
Like,
playing NFL Blitz of like, oh my God.
it literally was like NFL Blitz. It's like you're taking somebody and just like almost like folding them like a bed sheet. You know what I mean? Like whipping
It's like a
I don't.
lawn chair, just man. But like, okay, so there is injury concerns about Asante Samuel Jr. for sure. I would love to have him in here. He hasn't been good really since 2023, which he was really good that year for the Chargers. 75.6 coverage grade, 64.7% reception rate, which is pretty good. 98 NFL passer rating. He allowed some touchdowns for sure, but he had 11 PBUs and 2 interceptions. Like, there is some high upside in there. There just is a lot of drawbacks because of the injuries. He was born in 2003. He's 26 years old. It's not like he's that old at all, I believe.
He's young.
No, sorry. He's born in 1999. I'm sorry. March 10th, 1999. He's only 26 years old, so it's not as if...
Weren't you born in like 99?
I was born in 96, so I'm a little older, but still. 28 going on 29.
I was a junior in high school when you were born.
Dude, my brother, my oldest brother he is 54.
Oh wow.
55. My sister is 53, 54.
What was the because so I have two older sisters. One was born in 73, one was born in 75. I was born in 79, and my brother's born in 86.
Okay.
So my oldest sister and my baby brother have like a 13-year age gap.
Yeah. So like me and my brothers were half siblings, and my mom, well, I probably shouldn't date my parents, but especially my mom. But my oldest brother was born in 1970, and I was born in 1996. So
wow, that's a
26 years
at the time, bro. He could be your dad.
I mean,
technically,
yeah,
I could too.
Through my elementary school years, hey, are your dad's here to pick you up? It's my brother, not my dad.
Not my dad.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it came with benefits. Like, probably saw some things I shouldn't have at the age of 8, but you know, that's what comes with
it's
having
just
older
funny
siblings.
That when you watch some of these NFL players and they were born in like the mid 2000s, it's just like,
dude,
what?
So
what?
Me and my wife have been together for a decade, roughly, and been married for just over a year. And she's a teacher and she's in 2nd grade. And these kids were born in like 2017. And like, that's how, life works. But it's like, oh my God, people are born in 2017. Her best friend had a baby probably 9 months ago. It's like, babies are born in 2025. What the heck's happening?
To me, it's the people that are born post 9/11, and they're just like, the world, how much it's changed since that point. And like,
sure.
Anybody who's born past that point, it's just like weird. It's just weird to me. You were born in what, 2004? Like, I have nieces that are 14 this year, and it's just weird. They were born in 2011.
When growing up, obviously, like, you don't think about things, but like the minute your childhood ends, like, it's when your favorite players are becoming broadcasters, and you're like, God, like, what the hell?
When I remember Joe Montana joining the ABC broadcast in 1995, year after he retired, and it was just like, oh my God, like Montana's done. And Jerry Rice, when he retired and when he did I was like, dude, I'm old. And now I look back, Montana's he's in his 70s. I'm turning 46.
Dude, when
getting old sucks.
That's kind of that kind of stretch
was
where
it NBC? Like, thanks, bro.
Whereas like Manning retired, then Breeze retired, then Big Ben retired, then Rivers retired, then Brady retired, and I was like, oh my God.
And it's weird that I remember the NFL before they played.
Right.
That's
and like
why, and that dates me because you were born in 96. I was alive in 96. I remember Peyton Manning coming on the scene in 98. I remember Drew Brees when he first got drafted from Purdue and all that with the San Diego Chargers. I remember Brady when it was him versus Carmazzi in the Hall of Fame Bowl, which pretty much changed the direction of history of like The Niners could have drafted Brady and had another 25 years of dominance and had like 14 trophies. You know what I mean? When you think about it. And instead it was the Patriots that ended up going on to do it. So it was like when you live through that and you're old enough, it's just like, man.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't think Tom would have looked as good in a Niner jersey in the early 2000s. Like he just fits Patriots, man. And maybe it's because he's iconic and everything, but like even when he went to Tampa Bay, whatever. Like I don't like even Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have looked good in a 2005 Niner jersey. Like outside of the white throwbacks that have the saloon font that are awesome, those red home mid 2000s Niner jerseys, ugly as all get out. Just ugly. And then in 2011, 2010, when the Harbaugh era came in, they had those kind of like mix and match. They didn't have the red just right yet. It was like the throwback red, but they was trying to do a new age thing. Those were better, but they still weren't like the Niners now have excellent jerseys. Love them. But there was a stretch for like 20 years, 15 years where you're like, this is really unappealing to watch because the jerseys are so ugly.
Because they were almost like a weirdish, reddish, purplish hue.
It was weird. It was like burgundy.
Very burgundy, yeah.
Like Niners aren't burgundy. They're red.
Baby. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Would you sign Asante Samuel Jr.?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. And
I would sign Wilkins. I would sign Wilkins if he wasn't such a freak.
Hey, I'll say this. The fact that Christian Wilkins hasn't been signed through 10 weeks tells you something serious probably happened.
You know, because we look at it, and I know this is kind of a mature subject, but like sexual assault against a woman is just, it's bad. There's nothing you can say that can justify it, right? When it happens from a man to another man, people laugh.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same thing because it happened to me in the workplace from someone. And it's weird.
Which I'm happy the Raiders took it that seriously.
Yeah, like an unwelcome advance from somebody is an unwelcome advance. And you have to treat it as such. So I say oh, he'd be cool to have, but I don't want to undermine anybody who's ever been assaulted or, the R word and any of that stuff.
But I just think the initial report was he was kissing guys on the top of their heads.
Yeah, I would have a problem with that.
Clearly, it was way worse than that. Way worse than that. There's a reason why he's not in there.
I have a personal space bubble as a person. I like my dad. And if you go past that bubble and I warn you, I'm going to hurt you. I don't want to be touched unless you're like my mom or a sister or a relative who I love very much.
Or it's accepted.
But if you're a guy or anything else like that, get away from me or I'm going to knock your teeth out. I warn people this is my bubble. Don't come here.
Testosterone level, it's very led of a bunch of big men who are I'm the toughest guy in the room. And when you have a guy acting out you don't like, it's going to rub guys the wrong way.
That's why I can never go into a mosh pit because in my personal space bubble, my brother's
sign me up, man. Sign me up.
My brother's been in. I have a 6'8", almost 6'9" friend who's been in.
Oh my gosh.
He just takes his long arms and legs and just flings into people and pounds on them and stuff.
That's awesome. Man, that's awesome. Mr. Irrelevant MC says, nah, they are burgundy. Bring it back. That's a time when we were kids. That was history in Niners football. 2000s burgundy was a passage of history for fans. And
it was. I have a Gore. I have a Willis. I have a Vernon Davis.
This is terrible. I used to have when they
and they're all authentic too. They're real jerseys, stitched jerseys.
When the NFL used to send out their NFL holiday shopping and it had every team had the jerseys on the book, and you'd go through and circle it. I remember that they had the little promos they'd send out and you'd look at who's available that year and whatnot in the paper. You'd circle it, send it in, get your jersey back and put the money in the envelope and send it off to the NFL, wherever they're located at. My brother has one of the ugliest jerseys ever. It's an all gold Niners Jeff Garcia jersey, not authentic, NFL.com, an all gold jersey.
I know which one that is because I think I bought
disgusting.
I bought the ones with the pokey holes, the painted ones.
Yeah.
Man, I remember getting like I didn't like I said I didn't get an authentic jersey until like 2010, 2011.
I think my first one was Vernon Davis, and my
There was
grandmother
one
got it
that I
for me.
wanted, and I worked at a sports memorabilia store in 2005. I was going through a lot of personal issues, but the one thing I loved was sports forever, right? It was a white Joe Montana with it was a Notre Dame white with the
Okay.
green three. It was like a green and gold. That might have been a gold accent. Number 3, bro. That with a pair of like blue jeans and a pair of Timberlands and like a white Notre Dame hat.
Not the Tims.
Oh, I'm a New Yorker, bro. Like
Right.
Timberlands
Right.
is like Timberlands and Air Force
Way
Ones,
of
bro.
life.
That's what I have. I'm a New Yorker. Like if you come up here in the wintertime, especially back in like the mid to late 90s, baggy jeans, Timberlands,
Dude,
oversized jerseys. I still dress like that
right.
to an extent. I still dress like a young guy.
I do miss the jersey culture we used to have.
Yes.
The early 2000s, late 90s jersey culture, where you can just like you can wear any jersey.
I had
It
a
didn't
friend who was
matter.
a lot smaller than me. He used to borrow the jerseys, and he was like a lot shorter than me. So like the baggy jeans and everything. He looked like a rapper. Like he just had the whole giddy up because it was a jersey meant for a guy my height on a guy who's
Right.
5'6". But yeah, it was just that era. I had so many different jerseys that people were like, can I borrow this one? Can I borrow that one? The problem is with a lot of these people, they would like smoke or smoke weed. So like you get it back and it stunk. And you're like, I should have just let them have it. Like,
We have a comment by Andrew49. They say you can't wear a jersey of a person younger than you.
the whole Niners team is younger than me.
Yeah,
Though.
I mean, like when you get older, I mean, like I'm 28 going on 29. You're telling me I can't buy a Brock Purdy jersey?
So the
I
only
can't-
jerseys I can wear, essentially, would be players that were.
It's like
Jeez.
Harbaugh era and older for you.
Yeah, like I don't own a Montana. I do want to get. I don't have the money to do it right now, but I do want to get a white Mitchell and S number 16 Montana.
Okay.
I want
Throwback,
that.
like with the red and the black outline.
It's the 1989 jersey
Okay.
from the year we beat Denver 55-10. It's that jersey. I want that one. It's freaking beautiful, baby. I don't know. Where would you wear it though? Like you have to take it off every time you eat. Like you can't go to like a barbecue restaurant or pizza or chicken wings.
Well, like,
those jerseys.
And like nowadays, like jerseys, like it's a shirt really, but like it's like not part of the culture. So like no one really wears jerseys out anymore unless you're going to a sports bar or a sporting event.
And I don't wear them at home anymore. I'll tell you what, the Niners want to win a Super Bowl at any point in the next couple of years. I would probably buy a Fred Warner or a Brock Purdy or somebody on the team who I know is going to be there a long time, or that will always be there, like a real deal jersey. I've gained way too much weight since I've been home the last all these years with surgeries and stuff. So I don't want to buy anything until I lose weight, because if you get a jersey that's like a 4X or something, or a size 60 or whatever, how they go, the authentics.
Yeah.
Like once you lose weight, it looks like you're wearing a dress,
It's a tablecloth.
Yeah, you're wearing a tablecloth. So I got to lose some weight before. That's why I get a lot of the t-shirts that have like the breathable material, and I just buy hats. I have like 30 hats in the basement. I have like 30 49er hats.
We have a comment by Rob Bauman saying, if Niners ever win a Super Bowl, you'll see me on the news naked being chased by the police.
Dude, that would be totally worth it. What I would do is I would paint your body like one of the colors of the team, like red or gold. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Even Joseph Ernberg, who might be Brock Purdy's biggest hater, says, I said it to myself that I would buy a signed Brock Purdy jersey if he won the 2023 Super Bowl.
Bro, if we won in 2019, I might have bought a Garoppolo. And I hated Garoppolo.
You know what's crazy? Like, it's always fun to go back and do the what if thing with the 49ers. You can do the Brady, the Aaron Rodgers, and this, that, and the other. I will always think, had they won that 2019 Super Bowl, they said no to Brady again, but like they're probably not even saying, like, the whole Trey Lance thing never happens.
No,
it never happens. Which, like, I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing.
They They lost to a team like the Patriots, or excuse me, like the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they were like, man, we want one of those of our own, like a multi.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
And then it just didn't work because it's just Patrick Mahomes is a 1 in a million shot, man. Like that you can't. This is the one thing about NFL GMs and even coaches, organizations, you can't replicate something that's greatness. Like you can't replicate Montana. Like it took till Tom Brady.
Yeah, but about to say it took 20 years.
Tom Brady for someone to be greater. I mean, I still think Joe's the GOAT because Joe didn't have any controversy in his career surrounding him like Brady did. Now people could say I'm a hater and I'm like blinded by the Niners and Montana, and I give Brady the credit. He's the GOAT, but I still like Joe better because of certain specific things that
right.
He went to 4, he won 4. He was the MVP in 3 of them. He never threw a pick, and so like that's my guy. I'll always be a Joe Montana guy for life.
My the last Niner jersey I got, going back to that conversation for a second, it was before the 2023 Super Bowl. I think I got it for Christmas for my birthday. And it was an authentic Dre Greenlaw jersey.
Oh boy.
And I was working at 95.7 The Game when I lived in the Bay Area. I still work there, but now remotely. I was hosting the pre and post game show for that Super Bowl, wearing that Dre Greenlaw jersey.
And poor guy.
Of course, we're going out of our minds in the first half. Oh, we're gonna win it. Casey can suck it. Here we go. And then the second half starts, and bang, there's his Achilles.
Like how?
Dude, I was like, of anyone that was gonna get hurt, it had to be him.
But like how? I still don't understand how that happens. How?
It was the
how
MF,
do you tear
dude.
your Achilles? It's the Niners have.
The
if you guys know what EMF
magnetic
is,
fields, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. He actually responded. I liked this comment. I said, "Bro, you do a good job talking on 95.7 The Game." Joe Feliciano, he liked my comment.
Oh, John,
yeah. I glazed him a little bit. I told him, hey, if you ever want to come on. See, I took it to that level of a person we know where I made it uncomfortable. Where I then I took, hey, by the way, you want to come on? And ruined everything. I've never actually had an NFL player on.
I had Larry Grant on early in my
I had Eric Crocker on. That's right.
Yeah. We haven't had a Niner player on?
I've never had a Niner player on. I've tried to get whose son was I talking to? He said that he would have done it, but they have to. I think it might have been Fred, or fullback from the 90s. Bar none.
Rathman?
No, William Floyd.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was William Floyd's son. He was his agent.
Go on? Sorry, go on.
No, but I would have had. Once I found out that I had to pay, I'm like, I'm out.
This isn't Cameo, brother. This is free.
My YouTube channel isn't a freaking.
I'm not monetized, okay?
I'm not Larry or Grant. I don't have 1,400 people watching me at any given time. I'm lucky if I get 5. You know what I mean? So like, it would have been nice.
Did I tell you my Cam Ward story?
Mm-mm.
Dude, so I write for Clutch Points, covering the NFL and college football for them. And
Clutch Points. I used to use their website for like thumbnail ideas and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like they've been around for a long time. But I cover the NFL and college football for them. And I was writing an article Monday about the Titans game. And in that game, the box score for ESPN says that Cam Ward fumbled twice. Now, both the fumbles were covered by Tennessee, but he fumbled twice. So in the article, I mentioned he fumbled twice and everything, and I added the context and, whatever, and that they weren't lost, but he fumbled. Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, his father DM'd me. And I didn't know who he was. I was like, who the hell is this guy? Calvin Ward. I don't know who this guy is. DMs me and says, hey, I see you wrote that my son fumbled twice. Show me the second fumble. And I was like, huh? I go, so I sent in the box score. He gives me this long message about how it wasn't a fumble, it was an incomplete pass, the box score is wrong. And I was like, dude, if you're going to hate on somebody, hate on ESPN, not the guy writing the article based on the box score. But the number 1 overall pick in the draft, who plays for the Tennessee Titans, his father is in, I'm not a big reporter, I'm not a reporter at all, in a journalist, associate editor of Clutch Points' DMs.
That's pretty crazy. That's crazy. I had supposedly Nick Bosa's mother going back and forth to me on X, and she was telling me like I was gonna, Cheryl Bosa. Supposedly it was her
queen.
And so she was like, "Hey, if you have $500, you get this card. You get because you're a friend of my son, so I'll give you a discount. It's like this. It's called like some premium credit card thing." She goes, "All you have to do is pay me $500, and then you'll get to go to like so many games free."
That's a scam, dude.
And so I was like, "Okay, can I just to make sure? I want to know if this is Cheryl Bosa." Never got a response after.
No, that was not Cheryl Bosa.
Even though she's got a ton of followers and it says Cheryl Bosa, I feel like somebody might have gotten a hold of her social media. Maybe an inactive account, and is trying to scam people. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to go to a game, blah, blah, blah." Oh, that was you for $500 though, dude. At least try to get 1,500, or 2,000 from you, bro. That's kind of
I have Cal State Energy calling me every single day asking for my social security number. You got to go higher than that, man.
Yeah, like it's not happening. I don't have enough money in the bank to even want to scam me.
No.
Like, at least go after an athlete or something. But yeah, like I thought I was like, "Oh man, Nick Bosa's mom. Yeah, boy." I was about to go on YouTube and freaking pump my chest to my 4 viewers that watch me and be
Guess who slid in my DMs? Nick Bosa's happily married mother asking me for $500.
And then then they clip it and they send it to her, and it sounds like I'm trying. Yeah, that would have been weird. So, but again, we know people on social media and on YouTube in the past that would have done that.
I mean, yeah, we do. We really, really, really do.
Understanding, for sure.
Understanding. Yeah, it's true. Okay, let's wrap this thing in a nice bow. And I'm going to ask you the exact same question I asked Dre, I believe it was yesterday. Going back to the Niners trade deadline, no moves were done. This is the roster going forward. If you like it, you can cry about it. If you don't, well, whatever. You get over it. We're here now. This is the roster. However far it goes, we shall see. Do you classify the trade deadline as a failure?
Only if you, because I was looking at it to better the team.
Okay.
And only to better the team. And the fact that our current roster construction with the injuries and losing Mykel Williams, I would say it is a failure because just based on the body, we needed a body. And it could have been someone who had, a decently high level player that could have come in and stepped in for the loss of Mykel Williams. So in that, if you look at it like that, just based off the injury that happened and you're trying to replace somebody with an actual NFL body, I would say, yeah, it was a failure to get a deal done to bring in a high level, or a mid to high level player to replace Mykel Williams. Yeah, I would agree that it is a failure.
Is there one move you would have made? Give me like an exact, this going out, this coming in. Give me the move you wanted San Francisco to make.
I would have traded a 2nd round pick for Quinnen Williams.
Well, the Jets have said yes to that though. Like, give me like one that they'd actually agreed to.
Maybe a second in something else the next year. Because automatically, all of a sudden you're a defensive tackle group.
Okay. Would you have done the Dallas Cowboys deal, which was
no
a 1st round? So you wouldn't have matched the deal for Dallas.
I would have figured out something else. Maybe a first, I don't know, something with a 2027 draft pick or something. I don't know.
That's what Dallas did, though. Dallas had a 1st round pick in 2 years, 2nd round pick this year, then their former 1st round draft pick a couple years ago.
No, I guess I wouldn't do that then, unfortunately. He's the one player that I was intrigued by.
Okay.
That I think we even talked about, like Quinnen Williams. That would actually be
sure.
Like, you imagine him like on the interior like that. he automatically becomes your best defensive interior player by far. Even if Jets radio guys are like he's overrated, he's not that great. I think he's. I mean, shoot, man,
he's phenomenal.
You put that next to Bosa and
Alfred Collins
and Alfred Collins, or you do you bring in freaking Michael Williams on the inside, and you put another edge on the outside.
Let's ask this then. Let's say the Niners had to trade a second-round pick this year, a first-round pick in 2027, and Alfred Collins for Quinnen Williams. Would you have done it?
No. Nope.
I don't think a deal's getting done then, brother.
I would have sent them. No, I guess because I've kind of grown a liking to Alfred Collins a little bit this year. So
dude, I love their draft class, man. They have some lumps in the road. Nick Martin hasn't played really much yet, but like I love Michael when he's healthy.
Nothing with that. Larry Kruger for the life of him. Huh?
He's not good enough. He doesn't play Mike linebacker. They don't have a hole. Bethune's playing good. Robinson's the backup Mike linebacker. He only plays Sam right
Gifford?
now. Gifford doesn't play Mike linebacker. He plays. I think he plays Sam, or does he play Will?
Yeah, but why? He's not better than even him, even on base downs.
No.
He looked amazing.
You saw him in the preseason. He's so erratic, running around. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's true.
Missed tackle rate, it'd be at 95%.
True. You think we missed tackles now? You'd have been.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be terrible. And I like the kid. I think he can be a good player. Just
you find him more of like a D Winters, where he's going to take a little bit of time to kind of acclimate him to, and then all of a sudden, people will be like, "Well, why didn't we start him last year? He's so good this year." Like, I think D Winters has been pretty solid this year. I don't think he's been incredible.
No, but he's been good and really good.
Yeah.
But I also think and I told you this when they drafted him, that was their third round running back. He's a project. That's what he is.
Yeah, if you look at it like that with Alfred Collins, to make that pick, I would trade him. That would have been. I mean, Quinnen Williams is a proven NFL player.
So you would trade Alfred Collins this year's second and next year's first for Quinnen Williams.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, and you pay Quinnen in a year and a half.
Sure.
Damn. Me and you are on two different paths, brother.
I don't know. Like he's so, but they don't have anybody on the interior.
Good after Collins.
They haven't. Yeah, but they haven't had a great interior defensive lineman since probably
when he's healthy. They have Mikel. Well, they had DeForest Buckner. Let's not forget that.
That's true. Defoe was pretty good.
And Isaac Sopoaga, Ray McDonald, albeit he was a bad guy, but still.
Yeah.
Justin Smith was on the interior.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at that line was, I mean,
dogs.
They were incredible, but it was the ability to take on two blockers by Justin Smith and let Alden Smith, rush the passer with nobody blocking him.
But we saw what happened. Trying to do with Mikel and Bosa, man.
I know, but they just can't keep anybody healthy now. So it's just Quinnen Williams get hurt.
It pains me that Mikel is hurt, man.
It does.
It sucks. Like
that's why
that just sucks.
Them staying put at the trade deadline really kind of makes no sense for that reason. He's that much of a loss.
But I think
at least get something, and they didn't get anything.
You mentioned earlier,
Bradley King is as good as we're gonna get. Like what?
You mentioned earlier that you thought, or Trent or somebody they're one injury away from the straw on the camel's back being broken.
Yeah.
Am I wrong to think I'm still positive? Yeah, they're 6-3. Like there is a fear in me though of the Mikel one could have been it. Like that's the one hurts your run defense. You don't have a space heater anymore. Guy can't play inside on.
That's just another reason.
Down,
then that's another reason why didn't you make a move for somebody? Why?
Because no one was going to be good enough, and you weren't going to risk losing a high-end draft pick for a guy that you hope could be that good. I love Jermaine Johnson, but second-round pick is insane.
It's too high. You're right.
And the Jets had no reason to trade him after trading away Quinnen Williams. There's no incentive there. That's part of it too. Takes two to tango, brother.
Might as well just pick up Yannick Ngakoue. I mean, he hasn't been good for
that guy
6
also
years.
Sucks. That dude's hot dog flavored water. That guy's terrible. You can keep him as far away from this roster.
No, if you're going to say terrible, right, you got to say like Charles Barkley. Terrible. That guy's terrible.
Terrible. Yannick Ngakoue sucks. I saw someone on social media. Well, they
I saw
signed.
it
There's a
too.
reason he's a free agent. People were like, "Why they
He's been a-
signed Justin Simmons?" There's a reason no one signed Justin Simmons yet. They're not good anymore. They're old. They're broken down. And I like those guys when they were young. Ngakoue was awesome with the Colts. Awesome with the Bears. He sucks. Simmons was a great Denver Bronco. He sucks now. It's okay to say that. Guys get older. It's fine. But there's no help coming. The only help is guys maybe returning from injury. That's it.
Oh, yeah, we'll see.
What?
I mean, we're still in it till we're not. That's how I look at it.
That's what I like to hear. 6-3, half a game behind the Rams and Seahawks for first place in the NFC West.
If we can figure out a way to beat the Rams, and we'll do that on Friday. Oh man, that would be incredible. But we'll see.
What's funny is I am recording my preview for that game after this show tonight. It'll be out tomorrow morning, and it's gonna be fun. I don't know. I don't know how positive I am, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I'm kind of where I'm right there with you, but
watch out, Matthew Stafford.
Joseph Unberg says 6-11 incoming, so the Niners are just gonna lose out, guys. See ya.
Yeah, I mean, if they do, top 10 pick, baby.
Top 10 pick. That's
Joseph wants that. I don't, but Joseph wants that.
Joseph's like, we might as well just flush it all down the toilet and come back next year. And maybe we're healthy again. Maybe. We'll see.
Get the EMF waves out of.
Yeah, get rid of the EMF. Yeah, get the power lines off the practice field. Thanks.
All right, guys. It's a good place to end today's show. Aaron, tell us where we can find you on social media and on YouTube.
49ers First Takes on YouTube, of course. 49ers First Takes on X. 49ers First Takes on Instagram, and 49ers First Takes on TikTok as well. I try to post the latest news. I do sometimes I go on TikTok, I'll go live. I usually do a post-game reaction, like a 2-minute video on every time the game ends, win or lose. I put my big red beard on and my big nose on camera and let you guys listen to me talk. So, yeah.
Well, that's where you can find Aaron on social media and on the podcasting platforms like YouTube, X, and the rest of the social media platforms. You can also follow me at 49ers_access is the X or Twitter. A lot of back and forth from fans since the trade deadline. I love the conversation. Love having it with you guys. And also at 49ers.access is the Instagram. If you want to see your 2024 San Francisco 49ers play this year, go to SeatGeek.com and use that promo code 49ErsAccess and save yourself $20 off your first purchase. That's all we have today. My name is Sterling Bennett. That is Aaron from 49ers First Takes. And as always, until next time, stay faithful.